Hi again, Ijao Martins here, licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California. Welcome to my virtual office. This is what we'll be seeing and if you have a consultation or therapy session with me. So thank you for your feedback about my first video for partners of clients with ADHD. Some of them asked me, so what happens if my partner with ADHD doesn't want to talk about it? So what are the situations when they don't want to talk about it? I can help you to understand better in this little video. So one situation is sometimes a partner with clients with ADHD say, my partner with ADHD doesn't want to talk. When we get into a conflict where my feelings were hurt, I'm trying to talk about my feelings and about my needs, or negotiate tiny little things like scheduling, coordination of care for children. They sometimes simply say, no, I don't want to talk about it. Or they will sit through the conversation and being not very responsive, being very passive, as if they are not there. Or they get defensive and they start to complain about their partner, or their partner feel being attacked, being blamed. So there's a communication breakdown. And the partners of clients with ADHD tend to think, well, they don't care about me, they don't want to discuss this issue with me, and they don't care about my feelings, and then we can't work together. So I know that make you feel very frustrated and sad and alone. So today, I want to share, based on my clinical experience of working with clients with ADHD and the couples with one partner with ADHD, and to give you some situations where that could be happening, what's going on with your partner. When this situation happens, there's a communication breakdown and they don't want to talk to you. So I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 situation I summarized. So it's definitely not inclusive. Not all situations can be put in one little short video, but this gives you maybe a guideline, or maybe something to look out for, maybe inspiring to inquire more and be curious about what's really going on with your partner when they don't want to communicate. So number 1 is they get distracted. If you heard my previous video, you probably know this. And people with ADHD, their brain is very different from neurotypical brain, and they get distracted very easily. So it could be you're talking about, say, a co-parenting schedule or making a shopping list with them, and they don't seem very responsive. They seem they're gone. That's could be they got distracted, and by a thought, or by a flying object, or by a person passing by, or by a beeping of the phone, or anything that grabbed their attention in that moment could cause that facial expression looking like they're checked out, they're zoned out, they're somewhere else and not being present. So it's not about you. It could be because how their brain is structured. So number 2, very similar to the ADHD brain and how they function. They tend to get hyper-focused on something, right? So they could be, before this conversation, they were engaged in a project, in an activity that they were really into, they're hyper-focused on. So they haven't transitioned out of that project or activity yet. Even though they're sitting down, say having dinner with you and having a discussion with you, their brain in the back burner, this thing is still processing. So they're having such a hard time to transition into the current activity that they cannot be present. So that's the second one. The third one is they have a sensory overload. They are overstimulated in that moment. So some people with ADHD can also have sensory integration challenges, which means they can get over-flooded with information getting into their brain, so they cannot process all of them in that moment. So they may show as they feel agitated, they think they need to leave the room, or they need to remove themselves from the situation, so they withdraw. And a lot of time these behaviors will trigger their partner. They may feel hurt and rejected. But if you know that could be potentially caused by their overstimulated in their sensory organs, that they need to calm down and regulate, so you may feel less personal when that happens. So the fourth one is emotionally flooded. So the third one is about sensory stimulation and input. This one is related. Emotional flooded. They could have a surge of different kind of emotions. They may feel being attacked when you are talking about something they didn't do right. They may feel shamed and guilty, and they may feel angry and sad. So suddenly they have a surge of emotions coming to them, and the ADHD brain has a hard time to regulate self emotionally and sensory wise. So they could have a hard time calm down and listen to what you have to say in that moment without getting flooded by all these feelings they cannot process in that moment. So a lot of times when that happens, clients with ADHD tend to get very defensive. They start to point finger at you and telling you the times that you're not doing right, and finding some other times past experiences with you that they don't feel happy with. You may feel like, what's that have something to do with what I'm talking about? I'm trying to get connected. I'm trying to get my needs met. And then you're telling me when your needs are not met. That's not to the point. But when they're emotionally flooded, they want to protect themselves, and then they may withdraw to past experiences, trying to make you hear them first. So the next one is related to the emotional flooded, but I want to really emphasize this particular emotion that's very prevalent for a lot of clients with ADHD. Is called shame. Sometimes we call them they're in the shame mode. When they're in that moment, they have this energy, they want to come out to help and to support and to work with you, but there's another voice that's coming down to stop them from moving forward. And so they're really getting into this tug of war that they want to be there, but they can't. Their energy are all wrapped inside, and that's a shame. A lot of time that comes with a lot of critical voices that you are not good enough, that you can't do this, why try? Right? That comes from a lot of people with ADHD. When they were children, they feel judged by other people, that they're not the same as other children. They cannot be as fast in doing homework. They cannot concentrate. They don't get things right. They lose things all the time. So they internalize a lot of criticism and shame, and that's stopping them from achieving their goals in life. So the last one is called the protection of self. They're in the protecting mode. So they're either trying to protect themselves from being criticized by you or perceived criticism by you, or they're trying to preserve the relationship. They may think, well, whatever I say, this seems to make you more upset. So this is going to go out of hand. In order for us to be okay, I feel okay in our relationship, I may as well don't say anything to not make things worse. So it's coming from a place of preserving the relationship and self, but that sometimes trigger their partner as thinking, doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't get to you, you're not even listening to me, you're not reflecting back to me, so are you hearing me? Am I important enough for you, right? So this attachment protest will come up for couples. So I know I cannot exhaust all the situations happening with your partner with ADHD when they just shut down, right? I'm not there with them, with you. So I do not know what's really going on right now. So I just want you to stay curious. When they shut down, when they're not speaking to you, it could be because of them. It could be because of your dynamic, but it's not personal. It's not just about you. So you don't need to try to change yourself or trying to pursue more to get them to speak to you in that moment. What might be really helpful is to each of you separate, to calm down and come back to the topic, when we were ready. If you feel this is too difficult and complicated for me to figure it out myself, well, you are not alone. It is very complicated. So that's why we're here. That's why I'm here to support my couples to figure out each moment what happened there, the disconnection, and what are the reasons and what's going on inside of them, and to help you to facilitate this communication and to solve this puzzle together. So if anything that you don't remember today, if you can take one thing back, is don't take it personally when they don't want to speak, and be curious. And it's everything about the dynamic. It's not your fault. So if you like this video, click like, subscribe to my channel, and feel free to leave me comments and ask me questions and give me feedback. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you want to hear me talking about, and I can make videos for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.